Hey there, Michelle Trieste here
Hey
with
there,
Karen Griffin,
Michelle
and
Trieste here
we
with
are
Karen
so excited to
Griffin,
have you here.
and we
We've
are
had a
so
little
excited
bit
to
of
have you here. We've had a
showtime
little bit of
arrangement here with technology.
showtime
Thank you for
arrangement here with technology.
our fun
Our
clothing and
fun
just playing
clothing
around
and
with
just playing around
material.
with
So thanks for being here
material. So
today.
thanks for being here today. Oh, no problem.
Yeah, thanks, Karen.
Yeah,
Karen
thanks,
is
Karen.
a fellow
Karen is a fellow
storyteller and
storyteller
a visual
and a visual
artist
artist
who works with
who works with
clothing, and
clothing,
this
and
week
this
is
week
like the
is
Met
like the Met
Gala. So
Gala.
I was
So
just
I was
thinking
just
how
thinking how
what a
wonderful, what a
perfect week it is
perfect
for
week it
you
is
to
for
join
you
us
to
and
join
talk about
us
our
and talk about our
individuality and
individuality
beauty
and
that comes
beauty
through
that comes through
creativity. So
creativity.
welcome,
So
Karen.
welcome, Karen. Thank you, Michelle. This is an honor. So if I may reintroduce myself, my name is Karen E. Griffin. I go by Key. Of course, during COVID, with that lady with the dog, they messed up the Karen name. And needless to say, there we've been no little girls named Karen. So it's like, it's become a distinct name. So
Yeah,
I
I
just
didn't
prefer
know
to go
that.
by Key now. Yeah, it's like no little girls could call Karen. My granddaughter might even be called Karen. It's like, no. So I am a art quilter and a certified international and national storyteller. I need to add that to my repertoire. I have not been catering that name, and I'm also an airport greeter here in Kansas City.
Nice,
Nice,
nice.
nice.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
both
we're both
storytellers
storytellers
through the
through the
Kansas
Kansas
City
City
Mid-Continent
Mid-Continent
Library,
Library,
right?
right? Yes, and that's an honor by itself because I was trying to figure out where do we connect at? Like, where do we know each other from? And it's, of course, the Mid-Continent Public Library. So, kudos to them and the Kaufman Foundation because I think they supported that program.
Totally. And
Totally.
this
And
is
this is
a
a
shout out to
shout out
them.
to
And if
them. And if
anyone ever
anyone ever
wants to
wants to
work on
work
their
on their
storytelling
storytelling
abilities,
abilities,
oral
oral
or
or
written or
written or
both,
both, yes,
we will
we
put
will
the
put
link
the link
below
below
and you
and
can
you
go
can
ahead
go
and
ahead
do
and
it
do it
yourself.
yourself. Highly recommend it. Even if you
Yeah.
don't use the skill, at least it'll help you with your speaking. And I think that's really important, especially in today's society. Everything is on Zoom or, it's not a lot of face to face meetings anymore. But I think it'll help you with just connecting with someone and not being afraid to connect with them and share a story with storytelling. Because I think Toastmasters was like the first form. But
Me
then you
too.
have,
That's how
yeah,
I
how I
started.
started. Yeah, I was a part of Toastmasters too. And then our group didn't stay very connected. So I was like, let me find something else. And I got hooked on storytelling.
Nice.
Nice,
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 nice.
nice.
And
And
it also
it also
helps with
helps
our
with our
narrative,
narrative.
the way
Yes, the
we
way
look
we
at
look at
ourselves, our
ourselves, our
lives,
lives,
and
and
to
to
restructure
restructure
events in our
events in our
lives. Because
lives.
every
Because
time
every
we
time
have
we have
events,
events,
good or
good or
bad,
bad, right,
we
we
shift
shift
ourselves.
ourselves.
So
So
mastering
mastering
our
our
narrative
narrative
is
is
important
important
to be
to
able
be able
to
to
recreate,
recreate,
right?
right?
Or who we,
Who we,
just how we
how we
come
come
and show
and
up
show
in
up
the
in the
world. And
world. And
that's what
that's what
you
you
are
are
brilliant at
brilliant at
doing, not
doing,
only
not
through
only
your
through your
storytelling,
storytelling,
Karen, but
Karen, but
through your
through your
creations.
creations. Thank you.
And
And
as
as
women
women
and
and
global, part
global,
of the
part of the
global
global
internet,
internet,
how is
how
it
is
that
it that you,
what's your
what's your
perception? We were
perception?
just
We were just
talking about
talking about
Mother's Day
Mother's Day
coming up,
coming up.
and we were
And we were
both in
both in
agreement that
agreement
we
that
just
we just
love
love
Women's
Women's
International
International
Day. It's
Day.
not
It's not
just about
just about
mothers,
mothers. Yeah.
um,
Um,
and who
and
we
who
are
we
as
are
a
as a
village.
village. Right.
So we
So
both saw
we
that
saw that
in
in
similar
similar
light.
light. Yeah, I think it's very important that we say it's global, it's women, no matter if you're a mother or not. Of course, through the story that me and you shared a while back, I am not a really big fan of Mother's Day. I've never have been a big fan of Mother's Day. What Mother's Day really is when a woman gives birth. Now she's a mother. I would always call my mom at 5:30 in the morning and wish her a happy Mother's Day on the day she gave me life, the day she pushed me literally into the world. That is Mother's Day. And of course, as we shared that story, my mother put on her long white robe 2 days after Mother's Day. And I just said, God, just let me have her till after Mother's Day. So it wouldn't be so hard, not only of me, but my siblings. That's who I was really looking out for, is my siblings. Because I know for me, like I said, I would call her every year on my birthday, 2/13, at 5:30 in the morning, and wish her a happy Mother's Day, just to say thank you for giving me life, but also that ability to be a mother. Because Michelle, yourself, you're not taught to be a mother. That doesn't come with instructions. There's no, there is, no. That's literally, that is the
Especially
only
back
thing
in the
man
80s.
made. Yes.
89,
You
and
know,
I had my first one. I was like, there was no internet. I just have to listen to other people in another language.
Well, think about it. Babies are the only thing man made that does not come with instructions.
There you go.
There's no,
Every
and it's different.
every single one's different.
Touche. You could say that again. Touche. I'm too in, and so it's been it's totally different. But just womanhood in general, I think, is very important by itself, because we come from that one rib. So there was pain that came with that rib, and we took on that. We took on the nurturing, we took on the mothering, we took on the caring. Even if it's a child that we did not give birth to, we're still taking care of everyone else's kid. Like, are you an aunt?
Yes.
Okay, so see you. Okay, let's just keep this.
My girls and which is a beautiful thing to watch.
Right. So your auntie becomes your auntie mama, because you can't tell the things you can't tell your mama, you tell your auntie. So your auntie becomes your big sister, your auntie, and your mama. So she's going to correct you 3 different ways, right? I would even call my aunt and I would tell her, and I would just like, I just want to tell you thank you for sharing your sister with me.
Right.
And she'd be like, oh, and I'm like, no, I don't think you understand, because there's things about my mom that I will never know, because they have that sister's bond.
Of course.
You see what I mean? And there's things I'm going to tell my aunt that my mom will never know. Well, she may know now, but she's in heaven, so she's in heaven, so she knows everything now. But that womanhood, I think, is very important. Of course, I just did an exhibition called Her Story in March. And the reason why I did that exhibition was to honor Afro-American women in history. As you could look back and you think about it, women of color, Afro-American women, Negro women, Black women, whatever you want to call it, are not honored. 1, we're not honored in Black History Month. 2, they're not honored in Women in History Month. And I remember it was called Women in History Month, but now it's like Women International Day. And I'm like, no, it's 365, you ask me. So I did a one-woman production. I did a reenactment of Ida B. Wells Burnett, Ella Fitzgerald, and Elizabeth Betsy Coleman. And normally I don't, as a storyteller, and it could be challenging, right? It was a challenge for me to put all 3 of those women on stage together. Like, it was a power. Michelle, it was a powerhouse. Do you hear me? When I say a powerhouse, it was powerful.
I'm sure.
But I had to let Ida B. Wells Burnett be last, even though she was born first.
Right.
And I'm glad I let her go last, because her story, the way it ends, because I do reenactment, so I never say the year I died. That is not cool for me. That means now I just killed the whole vibe. Right, but I started off with Elizabeth Betsy Coleman, because she was a crusader. She was out fighting for justice and Afro-American pilots. And this sister had to go overseas. She didn't get accepted in the United States. I'm born in the United States, but I don't get accepted. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Wow. You're subject to other cultures.
Yeah. So after doing my research, I found out that Ida B. Wells Burnett spoke at Elizabeth Betsy Coleman's funeral.
Wow.
Okay. So remember we were talking about earlier, what is the hardest stone? And it's diamonds. And it's diamonds sharpening diamonds all day. And that's what women are. I mean, we can get together, we can kiki. And we're sharpening ourselves. Literally. You're sharpening yourselves, which I think is amazing, especially in today's society with so much going on.
Yeah, it's important to find the things you have in common and contrast. And share them.
Yeah.
And we're better for it.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And that's what you do with art. It's like you always say, when I look at your artwork, and I love how you have it behind you, it's like looking at what do you call it? The stained glass windows in the church. It's just all those broken nests in our lives and other lives, and they become so beautiful when you put them together.
Thanks. it
Yeah. So thanks for that little peek
it's
into
been a
what
creative
you've been
journey.
doing.
Oh, I'm honored to share. This piece is probably one of my most powerful pieces in my entire collection. She's not posted on my website. You pretty much only get, she gets exclusive viewing. Let's put it like this. Like now, this is exclusive for her, or you get to see her in um, creative institutions or at a library, or where she was just on display at Inglewood's Art Center, a part of the exhibition that I did called Her Story, along with a production. So I did a one woman production and a one woman solo, and this was the centerpiece, and it's titled Grandma's Dress Pattern. And if I may, I would like to share the story behind it. It goes back to my grandmother, who was a seamstress. When I did my very first solo, my uncle daddy, and I'll explain that why I call him my uncle daddy, he attended because my mother at the time was, my mother had transitioned at the time. So I need to get my family's blessing first, right? And my uncle daddy attended and he saw this piece and he fell in love with it. But he also fell in love with a tape measure and a cotton, because I always put cotton and tape measure in my exhibitions because that's me honoring my grandmother and my mother. But he had shared with me, because he saw the cotton in the dress, and he says, or he saw the cotton that was in the exhibition. He says, "Is that cotton I see?" And I was like, "Yes, sir." And he says, "Well, can I just share a story with you?" And I'm like, "Please, please share the story with me because I need to be able to continue the story." And he stated with tears in his eyes, Michelle, and it was really heart wrenching to hear this story because I knew my grandmother had lost one set of twin boys, and all she ever said, that she had a miscarriage. She didn't really go into why or how or where.
Right.
So of course, my uncle was like, "Well, let me just actually explain to you the situation." And he says, "That cotton that you have, I just want to tell you that I remember picking cotton next to your grandma, my mama, and she lost two sets of twin boys in that white hot ass cotton field." And with him
Oof.
telling me this, it allows me to know that this is what I'm supposed to do as an artist, is to continue this legacy that my grandmother did, but not
Mm,
realizing this dress that I did was like, oh, this is more than just a dress.
yeah.
It is titled, like I said, it's titled Grandma's Dress Pattern. If you look at it really closely, it's pieced, because I'm sure my grandmother did not have a Vogue, Simplicity, or McCormick pattern to fit her upright base body.
Mm.
When I say upright base, because my grandmother was shaped like a wooden upright base, and to I love, that's that's the
A
best way.
beautiful truth of all different women.
Beautiful.
I love
Hey,
it.
I always tell my friends, because I perform with an upright bass player. And now that I'm realizing, just having this conversation with you, I feel like my grandmother's on stage with me now, right?
Right.
Because I have this, I always perform with an upright bass player to do my storytelling.
Oh,
And yeah, oh my God, it's powerful
it
because
is.
it calms the audience down and it allows
Yeah.
them to listen and inhale. And like I said, as I'm speaking to this with you, I always tease my upright bass player. I'm like, his name is Tyrone, but he's the man with the wooden woman when he performs with me. And now, like I said, what me saying is too, it actually, it's my grandmother on stage with me, checking
Right.
every single.
That's great. That deep baritone
Yeah,
sound. I mean,
yeah,
especially for someone like you who has a deep voice, and
yeah,
I never really liked it, and now I do.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's yeah, and it has evolved. And this piece was drawn during COVID. I was on the floor, two pieces of cardboard, right? And I just drew it with crayon and a Sharpie. Crayons. I'm going back to my to my fifth grade love, and I'm with crayons and a Sharpie, and I'm just coloring. I never thought it would lead to this. This
Right.
piece was on display at museum at Perry Fire. She was a part of the Smithsonian traveling exhibition called Race. So she was one of the featured pieces there. Um, and like I said, now it's getting bigger and bigger. She was, like I said, the centerpiece. But now I'm also evolving and taking, as we talk about women, I'm was the feature artist with Miss Juneteenth KC, and I assisted 23 girls with making their own dress pattern. So theirs was like 16 by 20, right? But the whole part of doing that project was to have them to write 3 8-letter words that best describe them. And I said, don't use the word beautiful. I want you to use another word. I want you to use an action word, a power word that you can hang on to. Yeah, so they had to write the words on the back side of the dress, and we glued it down. So that means no one will know that the words are on the back of the dress but that girl. And it's to empower her and instill her. So when she's a young girl now, but when she becomes that woman, she can say, this is who I am.
Right. And that'll change. And it could shape definitely as women we know.
Yes.
It will change over your lifetime, which is a good thing. It's a great thing.
Yeah.
And you're becoming as a woman.
It's amazing experience and a journey to take. I'm not going to lie, it comes with challenges. I am a solo artist. I'm the managing director of Jazzy K Productions, doing business by Art by Eloy Studio. So I'm running 2 businesses, right? There's my production, which is my service, and then there's my art, which is my good. So, it's what I want to do. Let's just say that. It's what I
travel. Let everyone know.
It was what I was kind of doing. Yeah. It's been a challenge. It's a good challenge. I had to stop saying I'm a starving artist because I was lowering myself. So now I just say, I'm a happy artist. I'm a happy artist. Yes, I'm hungry. As artists, we're always hungry, but I'm a happy artist, and I'm just looking forward to seeing what's in store.
And it's beautiful to serve that hunger in a way that serves others and helping them to become. And whether you're helping women to be comfortable and to becoming and changing over time, and the creativity that takes to allow you to go through that, whether you're a mother, aunt, or an incredible woman in society that helps everyone else. I have always saluted women who never had children. And I always told my own children, you don't have to have children. There is enough to do in the community where people need help.
Right. And you could be
men,
a
boys, girls, like the whole world needs people that will take that time and energy that would go towards your own family and they reach out and help others. And I can't tell you how much I respect those women when I've worked with them, how I honor them. To me, they're like teachers.
Yeah. I might have to say one thing about being a woman is that you do have that option to care for others. My youngest, needless to say, love her dearly. She's like, never wanted to share me. And I'm thinking, she was like, but mom, I'm like, but baby, I love you even more. She was like, and I'm like, so now I have a granddaughter now. So, my little mini me gets a lot of attention, and I'm Nana K. So, me and mini me had to have a little conversation. And she says, no, you're grandma. And I said, no, I'm Nana K.
My grandmother name is Naja. As in like the boar. She's a lover and
you see what I'm saying? I think at this day and time, we have a right to change our name to be. We don't have to be grandma. It's okay. Here's the funny part about as we speak of that. Do you remember there was like Big Mama? See, in my culture, there was like Big Mama. There's no more Big Mama anymore. It's like I kind of miss. Well, let's just say for me, I miss my Big Mama. I miss plucking the hairs out of her chin, combing her hair. You know what I mean? That was like the thing for me. She'd be like, Karen, she never called me Karen. That was not coming out of her mouth. Now you think about it. This woman is from Texas, right? She's from Marlin, Texas. So she's not going to say Karen, it's Karen. And she'd be like, hey, I need you to hook up my brassiere. And I'm like, what? The things you had to do for your big mama, but it was, I miss those things. I miss sitting at her lap and her just feeding me about life. And now, with us being storytellers, I wish I could have actually recorded those conversations. So now I can speak on the things that she have given back. Like the only thing I really remember more than anything, Michelle, is she wanted black walnut ice cream. And I'm like, so I grew up thinking that black walnut ice cream was for old people,
Oh,
which is not
gee,
fair because guess what? I
interesting.
love, because that's only right. They only
Yeah.
eat black walnut ice cream back then. And guess what I find myself doing? Eating walnuts. But walnuts are in the shape of the brain, so I think that's why I like consuming them more now. But yeah,
Yeah,
needless to
yeah,
say.
yeah. And you know what? These are beautiful legacies, and that's why I say it's important for us to look at our everyday lives
Yeah.
and relate it to how we bring our what we I don't know values, but um, our integrity and how we bring it to the table.
Mhm.
And when we look at elders, we're lucky to have them.
Yes.
So then we can see what it's like after all the BS
Yes.
of, your 50s or 40s or whatever, and how do you live beyond the BS of life?
Hmm.
And it's a nice grounding way that you could look at your grandmother and your elders and get stories
Right.
and help you folks settle. Not all of us have that around,
Hmm.
because I did have my grandparents around when I was older,
Right.
enough to really get those kinds of stories. So
Right.
it's important to hear about it and to create like what you're creating right there behind you.
Hmm. And like you said, it's that grounded piece. Because I remember being at the time where it was my grandmother, my mother, me, and my daughter, right? And so like I'm in the middle, so I get the best of both worlds. But I
Right.
tell you what was a kicker for me when my daughters dated. She says, "Mom, has Granny always been a granny?" And I'm like, and now she's talking about my mom, right?
Right.
And I'm like, no, she hasn't always been a granny. I said, she was once my age and she was once your age. And she was like, really? So, to think that younger generations can't see that because they're not in the middle. So,
Yeah.
right. So, like, when my granddaughter has a child, if she chooses to, then it's going to be like, I'm going to be on the end now. I'll be at the front of the line. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, and they love to ask you. Like my granddaughters will ask me occasionally, even though they know the answer, "Mom, is your mom's mom?" Like they have to hear it again and again. Like,
right,
really? You're
right.
talking first name or second? Because they refer to my mother too, but it's really they're interested in me because I am the mother of their mother, and so that
They're
concept
right.
to them is like, I mean, mom had to listen to someone else at some point.
Yes. Well, so here's a question for you. When your girls were growing up, did they call you mom or did they call you Michelle because they heard your mom call you Michelle?
Oh no, they always call me
Mom.
mom. Yeah,
See, we had to switch it in my household because my mom would call me Karen in front of my girls. So my girls would call me Karen. And my mom was like, they can't call you by your first name. I'm like, but why? She says, because I'm your mom. I have that right to call you by your first name. They're your daughters. They're not supposed to call you by your first name. I was like, that would be right. So my mom had to start calling me mom, but we had to change my mom's name to Granny. So she became Granny. I became mom instead of her calling me Karen.
oh, that's
Because
so funny.
but I did still teach my girls, in case of emergency, what's my name? So they still knew those things, but they knew. But that was just, just how it was. But I never thought of that until my girls, because they're sponges, right? They're sponges. They're going to do it.
Hey,
They're
you know
going to
what?
do
We
it.
all shift we shift what we wear,
Thank you.
according to our role, like
Yeah.
you said, and our age.
Yes.
That's something that when I look through my closet, I'm like, okay, I have different periods, and depending what I'm doing, in life in my day, I'll shift what I'm wearing. And I love tell me more about your dress up. I see your pattern right next to you, and you have something coming up.
I do. So I am teaching a class called Play and Dress Up on Thursday. I'm looking forward to teaching it. I taught it once before. It was a birthday party. So fun. So Play and Dress Up is an opportunity for women to not necessarily go to the mall. Let me take a step back. Everybody was hyped on sip and paint, right? That was like the hot thing. And somebody said, well, you should do a sip and sew. And I was like, no. I'm not going to be responsible for nobody losing a finger because they sipping and sewing.
That's true.
That's true. No, because it only takes, because you know how girls are, Michelle. We get the kiki and we sip the wine and we done lost a finger.
Oh my God.
I do not want to be involved for that. So I said, well, I'm going to wait till sip and paint, dies down, and then I'll come out and I'll do something fun. And it's called Plain Dress Up. Plain Dress Up, and you have to take it back to when I was a child. My mother made everything. I do not remember my mother purchasing not one outfit at the store. She made everything. I was in love with paper dolls. That was my fantasy as a child. So I know that.
I remember the paper dolls.
Yes.
And then Raggedy Ann with remember the Raggedy Ann with had like the plastic application and Raggedy outfit.
Yes. Even Shrinkadinks. Remember that was our fun thing. So I had to go and do some soul searching, be like, well, I got this big dress, but how am I going to give back to community? How am I going to empower women? How am I going to make it to where she feels good at this moment, this time, and just have something that she can cherish? Right, and I was like, well, let's do Plain Dress Up. So a lady, after I was doing a storytelling gig, a lady came up and she says, hey, I want to know more about your dresses that you do. And I was like, sure. She says, well, I want to do a birthday party for my sister, my 2 daughters, and my older sister and her daughter-in-law. So I was like, no problem. So we wind up doing Plain Dress Up. And of course, it was a nice therapy session too. So everybody had to take their time. There was no rushing, even though, people want to rush and hurry up because they think they know how it's supposed to go. But what I did is I laid out all these different prints. I don't give you a whole lot of choices because you'll get too involved and you take too long. And you won't think. Right. So the way I started is for one, it has to be an even number of people. I let them draw the person that's across from them because I want them to get their wrists nice and loose. But they can't look at the drawing that they're drawing the person across from me. I think it's called contour drawing. And so they have to draw and then they give it to the other person. And it's really just an icebreaker, right? Nice. So after that, everybody gets a notebook or they get a piece of paper, and they have to write a love letter to themselves. So it's very, very, very therapeutic. You write a love letter to yourself, and everything's in 3 minutes. So you write a love letter, you draw, and then you have to write 3 colors that you're attracted to. Not that you like, it's a difference. It's a difference. It's 3 words that you're attracted to. So for me, I'm attracted to orange, purple, and red, right? So you got to think about it. Orange, well, really that's blue and red and yellow, right? Yeah. So, but I like red, but I'm attracted to orange. You see what I'm saying now? Right. Purple, I love purple. I'm attracted to purple, but guess what? I like red and blue. But I love purple. That's the color I'm attracted to. So they have to write down the 3 words they're attracted to. And then that's when they get to go see the fabric. And so what I've done is now I've narrowed it down for you. For the fabric, yes, that you choose. Could be like, instead of you asking the people, do you like this one? It's not about what they like. It's not about
that's a great layout.
Yes,
narrowing down.
Pin it right to you. It's like putting the blinders on the horse, right? And then there's a mat board. So the mat board can be an array of colors, but your mat board is just you're really like your asset color to the color of your dress. Whatever you think is going to pop, that's what the color is going to be. So it could be on that, or like the piece that's next to me on my right, or I'll paint the canvas black and let you put the dress on it. So it goes 2 different ways. So it's just however you want it to feel, the thickness. If you want it framed, we'll get them framed. But then you walk away with a piece that you can just have a connection with. Like one lady, her dress literally, I kid you not, looked like a beautiful, well-designed birthday cake. And the colors, a birthday cake. It was so pretty. And I was like, okay. I mean, and then you put the trimming on it. We got girls. We got to have accessories. We ain't going. We ain't
Exactly. You do my sparkly earrings.
See, I see. And your nightcap up. See, it's all about the accessories.
That's great. Yeah.
So that's what's coming up, and I'm looking forward to doing that and plenty more, just so people can just really go back into art. But it's a good way for them to start forming. Yeah, it's a form.
Yeah.
It's
now
totally
I have this video. Now I'm not getting the sound on.
I'm not getting
you used to walk us through it, but let me share my screen and we can take a peek at it. If I can get this to work right. Hold on one sec. Let's see. Might be too much. Yeah, no, that's not what I want. I want this. Can you see that on the screen? Did it enlarge?
No, I just see me and you.
Oh, let me try this again. I'll try this one more time. If it does work or if it doesn't work. Let's see, because we don't want it. I don't know if this is work. We've had our challenges this morning already.
Our day of glitch.
Technology.
It's a good thing. It just makes you be like, oh, I found out, even with art, storytelling women, we may feel like things are in a disarray, but what I found out, it's a good way of just checking us and rechecking us. Yeah. But it's allowed to see how patient you are too. But it's
it's how you behave. Yep.
It's all about your reaction. It's all about your reaction to the action.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can either make it to where it's going to be good or it's going to be bad. But that you determine that. But the beauty line of it, it's a LLL, lifelong learning.
Totally.
I'll
put that video in the link.
Okay.
So then people could take a peek. But do you have any pieces there that, like that beautiful one right next to you with the green?
So it's this piece here. Oh, I do.
Okay.
So I will show these pieces because they're too big to put on the screen. The original sizes are 30 by 40. So I do print to my pieces as well, but I make sure I put them on real good high quality paper, and it's like a photo rag paper. So when you get a chance, send me your address and I will send you a print. Okay. I'll get a print to you. So this is one. Okay, I'm gonna have to take them out because of the flare. So these are 7 by 5 by 7s and they're prints. Can you see that? Okay.
Oh, look how nice.
Now here's the beauty of it. I get my fabric shipped in from New York, Dallas, or Atlanta. It's too expensive here in Kansas City. It costs me for a yard, it costs me $30.
Right.
Where I can get my fabric there and I get like 6 yards for like $20 or $30. This one's probably one of my favorite. You see that?
Oh, I love it.
Thank you. It is so beautiful.
So you help people organize those. They cut them out, and I put the link here.
Thank you.
They dress up. It's Thursday that's coming up.
So it makes it kind of fun. I got one more. Hold on. I'm gonna try to be slick. As women, we do stuff on the slick side, so can't nobody know. But it's the beauty of it. So then I'll let you see one of the pieces. Going to be for Miss Juneteenth. This is exclusive, so not everybody gets to see it. So shh. But they will be displayed on May 19th. So this is one of the Young Ladies Justice that she designed.
Wow, look at that bling.
I know, right? That's
I love it. Now that blows away some of the Met Gala stuff.
Okay. So Met Gala ain't got nothing on me. Because see,
that's right.
You get to put this in your closet. You get to put it in
that's beautiful.
Thank you. Well, here's the beauty of it. The pieces for Miss Juneteenth, I would have to say, was especially shipped in from Tanzania for the girls for Miss Juneteenth. And so I'm honored to touch fabric from Tanzania for the girls to have opportunity. So it's not just a piece, it's a story, it's art, it's women. It's a conversation about our growth and development in today's social society.
There's an amen there.
Yeah.
All right. So you're going to have this May 9th there.
Yes.
Independent.
Yes, Independence at Inglewood's Art Center. It's where I have an artist in residency at. So honored to be there. Needless to say, real quick story. I grew up in Ben Franklin, which is really literally right next door. When I was 7 years old, we would take the bus and go to Ben Franklin. And now here I am, 57. Ain't that something? And I'm in the building.
We're the same age.
See? It's a good thing. So I'm literally right in the building next to where I grew up at. And I'm like, God is so complete. You know, it's 8 on the side. I'm honored to be there. And where my studio space is, I wanted to make sure I was really, really close to Ben Franklin so I can keep feeling the vibes. I knew they was like, where is this little Black girl going? She's over here every day, you know, every weekend. She's here like every weekend downstairs in the fabric department, or I was in the craft department. That's where I lived at. Yeah. So I think
it's very grounding to come back, to circle back where you grew up, and you can see where things have changed and what's familiar. And I know I grew up in Westport, Connecticut. I've been in Europe. Otherwise, I was here in Fairfield County, but I was out there for 7 years, and then I came back. But it's cool to revisit places that you were little.
Yeah.
And like you said, you remember some of the things that how you felt, or what your impression was when you were younger.
Yeah.
Say, man, now what?
It's a humbling experience because, like I said, we would take the bus every Saturday, and I didn't understand when I was a child how much we did not have, but I knew what we had, and we had a loving, caring, understanding mom, which was the most important thing. My mother, she did a hell of a job. She did the best she can do. I lost my dad when I was 13, which is the hardest thing for any girl to have to deal with, because there's times I just need to hold my dad's hand, or you know what I'm saying, or him just tell me it's going to be okay. You know what I'm saying? So to have the opportunity to be back in a space from people telling me that my work wasn't good enough. It's not good enough, or it doesn't fit. And I'm like, what do you mean it doesn't fit? Or for someone to say they don't like it. And my thing is, you should never tell an artist that. Because never anyone, because as an artist, a storyteller, as a woman, we're coming from a certain place. We're coming from a certain place, and there's a message that we're not trying to say anything to you about. It's about me pre-proving to myself that I am just as good. I'm good. I'm well. This is my destiny. This is my time. I know. Michelle, people would come to my performances and they'll say, you missed your calling. And I was like, I didn't miss my calling. I just haven't been called yet.
There you go.
And that's real talk.
Yeah, and it's us ourselves to the table. Without someone else giving us permission. I mean, that's what I do. I don't care what someone else says. Show up. How I want to show up.
Like this, I have enough of my own to try to worry about what everybody else thinks and does. I met 2 powerful women in my lifetime, and I forever honor these 2 women for watering me, weeding me, and feeding me. And the first woman that I had the honor of meeting that at this lecture, just like I'm looking at you, right? I feel like she was talking to me. Like my heart was so pierced. Like Dr. Maya Angelou.
Oh, wow. In person?
In person.
Snap.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Wow. So I'm carrying, I'm holding, and I keep a powerful torch lit.
Nice.
Do you understand? The other woman that I had the honor, and let me take it back. The honor of inhaling and exhaling their air is power. I don't take that lightly. The other woman that I had the honor of meeting, and I've been following her since I was in the 6th grade, is Jane Elliott. Jane Elliott is the one who did the Blue Brown Eye Project after Martin Luther King was assassinated with her third grade students. So now you see why I'm saying I'm holding and carrying a powerful torch.
Yeah.
We're talking Jane Elliott. And when I met her, I literally told her, I said, thank you. Thank you for what you're doing to educate. Thank you so much for doing what you're doing to educate the community and people, right? About Afro-Americans
and show up,
America.
like show up,
About
like we were just talking.
Show up like we were just talking.
That's what they did. They just told them.
Thank you.
They didn't wait for permission from someone else to say it fit.
She just said it. And here's the cracker part, Michelle. She came back and I said, I'm telling her thank you. Like, I'm crying because I'm like a kid looking at Santa Claus, waiting for him to come up the street. So I'm waiting for her to come down the chimney, but I'm patiently looking at her, waiting for her to come up the street so I can just talk to her, so I can get some more air, right?
Yeah.
And I said, thank you. You know what she replied back to me? And I'm thinking, oh my goodness. She says, no, wait a minute. Thank you for everything that you have to put up with. I'm sorry. Thank you for willing to stand up, keep your head up, pull your shoulders back, smile and step high. Thank you. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. We're talking Jane Elliott thanking me. And I'm thinking, oh. So let's just say between Mary, Eve, let me take it back to all the girls. Eve, Mary, Ruth, you know what I'm saying? Sarah, you know what I'm saying? My great-great-grandmother, my grandmother, my mother, me, my two daughters, and my dark granddaughter. Yeah, I'm carrying a heavy, well-lit torch.
Yeah. And that's what it comes down to, the art of who we are as women, as individuals. And men too. I don't want to leave them out.
Yeah.
But it's not about repeating someone else's message.
Mm-hmm.
It's about showing up with your own message.
Mm-hmm. Say that again. Say that again. Say that again.
Not about showing up as someone else, but as yourself. And
yes. Oh, I hear you on that.
And back to your art, it was funny because you got me thinking, especially with the whole Met Gala thing. I love that when and what you teach too is for people to show up as who they are, and to be real individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Whether sometimes if I talk about legacies, people orchestrating and sharing what their real stories are, like with your grandmother, like your uncle told you or what happened. But to show up as who you are, and you could take something like clothing that you have and make it individual. And so I have these, I know nothing like yours, but I was wearing my fancy overalls here.
Wait. Is that Dick Tracy?
I know.
Is that Dick
Tracy? That an older lady. She was probably not
and Wonder Woman. I love it.
Wonder Woman. And
so
Tracy and her set in Woodstock, New York. I went there with a group of guys around their motorcycles, and I saw her shop, and she had all these clothes that she just took these other pieces of material and created these, artworks that you wear. And it just made me think. I wanted that kind of reminder that we can create whatever personality we want and bring that onto the canvas that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And I have another friend who gave me this. This is a jacket, more like a Western look. And he took a Wrangler, a jean jacket.
Oh, nice.
And, he did his thing on it and gave it to me as a gift. And I just we can do these things ourselves,
mm-hmm.
and be individual and show up as our individual selves. And that's what I love about what we're doing.
Thank you.
And sometimes I see this other event you have coming up on May 31st, and again, this is just like you are promoting, and I'm all about it too, about helping people bring their narrative, their life, their individuality, their special spark to light in those like church windows,
Oh, yeah.
and bring different parts of themselves. And when we go through transitions in life, whether that's an event,
Yeah.
sad or happy or tragic,
Yeah.
we can bring these things to create beautiful
Yeah.
works of art, which is ourselves
Yes.
and our spirit.
Right.
Um,
You know, that's prior to our conversation we were having earlier. And I don't think people really realize we're all working on our dash.
love it. Exactly.
We are not going to ever talk about our dash at our funeral. We're just not. I mean, if somebody does, show me how you do that.
Yeah, we have to do it ourselves.
Right. We will never. So people are going to talk about our dash at our funeral. We will never talk about our dash. We don't talk about ourselves coming into this world. Only your mom knows that story. So if you think about it, L is our life, right? This is us walking through life. This is our life. It's L, right?
Yeah.
This is our head. This is our feet. When we go lay down, here's that dash. This is what everybody's going to talk about. This is our feet as it comes to an end of life, right? But this is the dash. We're not going to talk about the dash in our life at our homegoing celebration. That's millions and others and thousands of people's. That's everybody else's job. Now, you may be sitting in the cut like this and be like, I did that? Oh my gosh. I really did that. As the O stating goes, people are going to talk about you good or either bad about you in rooms that you have never even walked in, or a room that you was removed from.
Right.
It's just a given thing, but it's a part of life. Let's just say I'm working on my dash, my wings, my tick mark. I just want to get my toes through the gate. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try. Well, I used to be a track star.
I'm living in the gate. I'm living in it now. I'm like, this is, some people like have it now. I'm like, what is here now?
Yes.
It's how I show up.
It's how you show up. I used to do track and field. And so, of course, at track and field, what do they always tell you? Your head go in, right? So when it's time for me to transition, I'm just going to do like this, baby. I'm just going to be like, okay. My foot ain't going to work, but you get that head in. That's more, you get more. I mean, ain't that how you came into this world? It came head first, right? That's how you're going to get into heaven, head first.
Yeah,
and it's all about what's in your head that you produce for everybody else to enjoy. It's not for you to enjoy. It's you to produce and share what has been involved and created in you, just like art.
Yeah. And why? Because that reminds me, I'm going to be speaking at a grief conference at the end of August. I'll be doing that. And when we talk about grief, there's crap that happens all during life.
Yeah.
It's divorce, death, loss of an identity, loss of friendships. There's all different things that we grieve all at different points in our life. Sometimes we may lose our freedom. And we need to come back into society. And I don't mean just in prison or something. I mean, it's domestic abuse. And for me, that's what that was. And I had to transition back into society. And when I looked at the parts, the more I would share with people, people would ask me, how did you do this? How did you come back after that with 2 kids? How did you rebuild yourself? Again, it's narrative. It's different art forms that help us update and give the latest version, like an app of our narrative.
Yeah.
And what your artwork does, it does that. And I think you do it. It's just so beautiful to see the beauty in recreating our narrative and sharing our stories, so then other women and men don't feel alone as they go through the changes and the hardships and the beauty of life. And put them all together.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that, especially when you talk about the grief. I think grief is very important. Grief is allowing us to cleanse our inner soul, right? Because we hold everything in so much. So when you go to grief and you cry, you're releasing these things, you're releasing feelings, you're releasing things, bad things that has just been built up over time. But as you were saying, like people say, well, how did you come back? Like, how did you do this? What is that narrative? And for me, people ask me, they'll say, well, you reset yourself. And I'm like, no, it's a chapter in my book I didn't let you read.
Exactly.
You didn't need to read that chapter. But I got some more you can read. But this chapter right here, like when you had a diary, I don't know why we had keys. Why do we have keys to our diary?
But even your art,
you
look at dresses. I could probably make different dresses for different years of my life, and that's what I love. You're working with people who work with their hand to physically move mentally and physically through the different phases and where they are today. So I love it.
And it's that emotionally connection to it too. Because they have to form this dress. Like I said, it's a couple of, it's not like simple as people might think it is. I mean, I make sure there's a formulation to the whole entire process. I don't want you to just sit there and hope and do. I want you to think about like, why are you doing it? What is the story you're going to share after this? How did you make you feel? Just like any other artist, most people will buy a piece of art because of the story, the passion, the connection. That's why they like, okay, and now what that does is that allows them to be your megaphone. That gives them credibility, right? To be like, let me tell you about this piece. Let me tell you about this artist. So it is so funny because now I'll meet someone or somebody says, no, I already know her. You don't have to tell me anything about her. And I'm thinking, you do? And he was like, yeah, we met a long, long time ago. I'm thinking, was I good or bad? Because I don't remember. You know what I mean? Was it my twin or was it me? But it's a good feeling when someone introduces you and you don't have to introduce yourself.
Yeah.
And that's because you have really been humble, but you connected with that person and they feel good about being an ambassador for you. Because I'll tell you right now, I'm an ambassador for all my artist friends. I'm an ambassador for my artist friends. Heavily. Right. I'm like, hey, love, share, connect, love, share, connect. Love. As an artist, and that's just for me.
Right.
It's not mine. Because I guarantee you, Michelle, just as I'm looking at you, you looking at me, it can be taken away in a snap if I'm not thankful and humble for the gift that I have. And it took, if I can say this, it took my grandmother picking cotton. You understand what I'm saying? My grandmother had to do something just to survive. So it took my grandmother picking cotton in that hot field, right? And losing 4 boys. My grandmother lost 2 sets of twin boys. I have 4 uncles that I'll never be able to speak to. I'll never talk to. I'll never see. I don't even know what they look like. So it took my grandmother bending over, picking cotton in the hot sun. And then it took my mother working in the garment district for over 60 years, measuring cotton and getting paid by the piece. Okay. So, but now I would have to say thank them for laying down a foundation for me to build a legacy on for my granddaughter. That it's not about me. It will never be about me. And I can't be selfish with it. So anytime it says, hey, can you come over and do this? Would you be willing to do this? And, someone saw me the other day at a museum and says, are you back? And I'm like, nope. I said, anytime a museum call, I'm there. Anytime a museum call, I'll be there to support. If I can, I'll support, and I think that's just the humble part of me. And then there are times I would just do something just because, just it's free. Just yesterday, I feed the homeless every first Saturday, right? And I've been doing it my oldest is 33. I've been doing it for almost 27 years, give or take, right? And I made a comment and I shouldn't have made that comment. And I felt God convicting me, but I was teasing. I was only playing. And I guess God was like, that ain't funny. That's not funny. And I was like, but God, I'm so sorry. And he was like, don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Don't worry. I was like, so I'm driving down Winter Road, right? This is how God works. This is why you have to listen to your spiritual side.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you have to tap in and channel in and listen, right? And remember, I was teasing, I was playing because I'm a joker. I like teasing, I like playing.
And what did you say there?
Well, somebody was driving up to get food, and I made a comment, and I said, "Hey, how about you take the whole family to Taco Bell and get them some food?" And I probably shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that. But I was playing. And it wasn't a good joke.
Yeah, we all said off the cuff crap.
Yeah. So it wasn't a good joke. But everybody knows I tease all the time. And I like Taco Bell. So I saw this lady, and she's walking. Michelle, this lady had on one shoe. One. Walking down a gravel road. One shoe. Okay. God was like, I need you to turn around and give her your shoes. I said, okay. I didn't even second guess it. Cause it was like hitting me like really hard, right? Turned around. I said, can you tell me what size shoe you wear? And she said, huh? I said, here goes some shoes. Why was she trying to reach in her pocket and pay me for the shoes and she was homeless? So that just shows me where her mindset was. She was like, I know you're going to give me something, but let me try to pay you back. Right? Uh-oh, I lost Michelle. Michelle, did I lose you? I think I lost Michelle. Come back. I was like, did I lose Michelle? Yeah. So she was going to try to pay me. She was going to try to pay me for the shoes. And then it was like, after that, I was like, okay, God, I'm not joking no more. I ain't playing no more. I'm just, I'm going to be good. But I was teasing, I was playing. And sometimes I think it's just some way, the way things just kick in.
Yeah, but even that, through our mistake,
yep,
we can still come out and do amazing things. And that was a great example.
Yes.
Because if you didn't tease her with,
it was somebody else I was totally teasing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then you wouldn't have done that. Gave her the shoes. So that was great. And you did that in front of your kids?
No, this was just Saturday after I finished feeding the homeless. But I've been feeding the homeless with my kids for a long time. They're grown. This is Yeah. But they've seen me before just pull over and feed a homeless person.
But that's great. So you listen.
Yeah. You got to listen.
That's why I always say everything that again, going back to the broken glass and in the church windows, I mean, you just added another beautiful sliver of color.
Yeah. And then here's the crazy part, because it's like now I want to drive down Winter Road and just see if her shoe is there. But here's the crazy part. By the time I got so far, how come I couldn't see her anymore? And I'm thinking, was this just a passerby? Just to see where I'm at, and I'm literally watching her through my rear view mirror, walking in those shoes. And then I got so far, because sometimes you can pretty still see a long distance, right? And it was like, and then I just didn't see her. No. So
weird.
My motto is, I am instructed to complete my assignment in a timely manner. That's it.
Hey, there's an amen there.
Yeah.
So here's your website. If people want to work with you, talk with you, I know you help organize even Juneteenth event.
Yeah.
You help do your artwork and workshops.
Yes.
So I have your email, your website here.
Yes.
And do you have the email listed there on your website?
Yes, it's on my website too. Or most people, I have them to hit a chat on my website, and you can chat and hit me directly, because you have to be careful of people really wanting to work with you, or if it's a scam. And one time there was a scam coming in, but you have to learn how to make sure you read between the lines, because he didn't capitalize I. See, I'm old school. I need you to capitalize I. I need a sentence. I need periods. I need commas. I want a conversation. And then I'll do research. But if you don't put like your email or your number or somewhere I can connect with you, that's what I prefer, to just leave it as a chat and you chat back to me. And then some of the pieces on my website, you have to click the button. I prefer not to sell them directly through my website, because I want to know how did it inspired you, what intrigued you, and then we just gotta have a real conversation about the piece too,
Right.
Because I can feel them once they go their way.
Yeah.
And then there's things I have to explain to you about the piece, like how to take care of the piece. Like all my pieces have a pearl in the left hand corner because of my mom. So that's my mother signing off. I don't sign off on the front of my pieces. There's a purple heart on the back because my father fought in World War II. So that's how the art by E. Lewis come to back about. So I'm honoring my mother, which is the pearl, because I put the period in front of the E. The E is me, which is my middle initial, and Lewis is my father's last name. So yeah, there's a whole story around my
nice.
whole
So you're
name.
not getting that at the
But-
Met.
So you're not getting that at the Met Gala.
It's so funny. I'm
It's so
serious.
funny. I'm serious.
I look at that stuff
I
and
look
I'm
at
just
that
like,
stuff
it
and I'm
has
just
no
like,
meaning
it
to
has
me.
no meaning to me.
It really
Yeah.
doesn't.
It really doesn't. It's like
when I look at that on whatever Instagram, whatever it is,
Mhm.
everywhere.
I
I'm
look
just
at
like,
it too.
it's so
And then I got
meaningless to me because someone created it, which is beautiful.
Yes.
But then they're slapping it on someone who can barely move, which right there I take offense to
I saw that too.
so it's not made for that person that they can move. I mean, it has nothing to do with the person it's slapped on.
No.
To me,
that
that like loses any kind of credibility. That's just me. Like I don't. Between not being able to move with that piece of art, number one, number two, if it's see-through, then you lose me right there too.
Yeah.
There's no need for that.
Well, I guess my thing is, of course, as an artist, I'm wondering, how does that artist feel? How are their hands? Because I know my elbows, like as I'm talking to you, my elbows throbbing right now because I just knocked off 7 pieces. And, there are times I got to let it rest, but I have a show coming up that I got to get ready for, and I got to knock off 4 pieces. So in my mind as an artist, and I'm wondering, as these seamsters are doing this, what is their pressure like? How are they mentally and physically feeling? Are they sleeping in? But then I got to look at the recycle part of it. Where's all this fabric going to go?
Oh, that's a great question. What tips do you have? That's a great segue to end our time together. Is what is the best way to try to reuse some of your clothing that maybe it doesn't fit you anymore, but you don't want to throw it out because it's a good memory. How about any tips on reusing?
Yes, great question. If I can take you back, a friend of mine, I heard on the radio from another friend, classmate had lost her mom. And I immediately called and reached out to her and said, hey, I understand you just lost your mom. I'm sure she looks good in her long white robe and she's enjoying her time of her life. I said, well, would you be willing to do a meditation session with me so you can really reconnect with your mom and you release, right? And allow your mom to go. Because when people pass away, we have to learn not to be selfish. And that's wrong. We get mad, we get selfish. But what you fail to realize, you're really releasing them. So now they're going to cover you 24/7. We're really about right 25/8 because my mom shows up 25/8. So I asked her, I said, well, bring some of your mom's favorite clothing that you like. And she was like, huh? And I said, just bring me something your mom really liked. So she had 3 minutes to write a love letter to her mother, right? So she said this fabric, and I said, okay, now what I'm going to let you do, because I don't want to be held accountable for cutting it up wrong. I'm going to let you cut it up. Whatever way you cut this piece up, I'm going to reconstruct it into an art piece. Michelle, I would have to say it was the most beautiful piece I could have ever created, because the way she cut the piece out, she had a zipper and she didn't cut the zipper, right? It was left at an angle, right? So I said, well, okay. I put everything back together. The love letter she wrote to her mother, I took that love letter, made a pocket, put a pocket inside the piece and zipped it up. And I said, whenever you're ready to have a conversation with your mom, unzip it and read the letter. And we put it in a shadow box. So it is very beautiful and gratifying. Like one of my friends, her husband was a highway patrol officer, moved here from St. Louis to Kansas City. he got hit by a drunk driver, and she's been hanging on to his uniforms. I mean, for over maybe 20, 30 years.
Oh, wow.
I mean, when I'm saying hold on to him, I mean, she was held on to him, but she was holding on to him for a reason. And didn't know what that reason was. So I cut his uniform up, took his patches off, put his patches out all on it. Oh, Michelle, it was gorgeous. Now, here's the crazy part about it. Because I did a calling, because I do this calling every September for October. It's called 10 Secret Healing Hearts. So it's 10 hearts that I make at 10 by 10 for 10 people to assist with healing. I only go out in October. So they have to be out and delivered by October 10th by 10 a.m. So it's October 10th, 10 a.m. to 10 people. They have to be out of my sight, gone. I will not sell them. That's my way of giving back to the community, right? So she answered the call and says, hey, can you take this, reconstruct this piece? And I was like, yeah, but I said, but you will never see the piece. So she had to write the letter to the person she wanted to have the piece. And it was to her daughter. So I mailed it to her daughter, which was her dad's uniform constructed into art piece. And she never told her mom that she had the piece. She did not.
Crazy.
The mom didn't see the piece until she went to the daughter's house, but does not live close in the city.
Wow.
And then someone else said, hey, my friend lost a baby. And I was like, no problem. So I got baby fabric and constructed the heart, did a baby fabric, put a baby teddy bear on it. So she could still have that connection to her first baby, right? Because the tangible piece is gone, but still have this little connection to her first love. Right. So that's when you go back, you talk about that Mother's Day. I don't know if she's never had another child or not, but still have that connection. Had to write the note and get it to her. So they never knew who I was. They never knew who it was coming from. They just knew who I was. So it was called Secret Healing Heart. Yeah. So last year I delivered tier 10 to the American Cancer Society in honor of my 36 years of being a cancer survivor. So I delivered 10 hearts to the American Cancer Society this past October. Beautiful. So yeah, every year, every 10 years. So I would say to recycle fabric, that's a really, really good way to do it, is to turn it into a piece, frame it. Now it's a shadow box. Now it becomes actually, you know how people say there's an empty seat at the end of the table. Well, but if it comes to artwork, now it's like, no, they right here. They ain't getting no sweet potatoes and turkey and no green juice all on them. You know what I'm saying? They're still here in spirit. So a good way is just to recycle it. Find a quilter. Have a quilter turn it into a quilt piece for you. Or such as myself, find an artist that can help you do it. That's the beauty of it. You lay it out, but I'm the one, it's my responsibility to reconstruct it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
All right. Well, we will keep your eye out for your quilting, your lay dress up. I love it.
Thank you.
And I'll also keep an eye out for October. See what you do.
Yes, I will tag you. So.
All right. Perfect.
Sounds like
thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And we will stay checked in and see all your beautiful work. And again, if someone wants to hire Karen to have her come out and help them out on Juneteenth, whether that is with fabric, storytelling, helping you set up the proper lineup of speakers for that event or something else, please just email her, give her a call.
Sooner than later, because it's filling up.
Yeah.
But I'm available all the time.
Yes. Well, summer and then boom, everything starts again.
Yeah,
so.
it's going to get crazy here pretty soon.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Karen. And
thank you,
until then, peace out and thank you.
Peace and blessings to you, Rastafari.